The objective of the Voyage Planning CBT training module is to give the student an in-depth understanding of the importance of executing an accurate and detailed voyage plan, covering every aspect of the voyage. This module contains the following subjects: Voyage Planning, Officer of the Watch's Duties and Responsibilities, Communications, Weather Routing, Piracy, Safety, Disabled Ship, Emergencies. Select a subject by clicking the corresponding button. The purpose of voyage planning is to support the bridge team and ensure that the ship can be navigated safely between ports from berth to berth. A voyage plan should cover ocean, coastal and pilotage waters. If the plan for any reason needs to be changed, all navigators must be briefed thoroughly about the changes. According to STCW, the intended voyage shall be planned in advance, taking into consideration all pertinent information, and any course laid down shall be checked before the voyage commences. Every management or ship-owning company should have a safety management policy. It should provide practical guidance concerning safe navigation and include a clear statement that safety of life and safety of the ship take precedence over all other considerations. Allocation of bridge watchkeeping duties and responsibilities for navigational procedures. Procedures for voyage planning and execution. Chart and nautical publication procedures. Procedures to ensure that all essential navigation equipment and main and auxiliary machinery are available and fully operational. Advice concerning emergency responses. Accident and near-miss reporting procedures. Ship position reporting procedures. Recording of voyage events. Procedures for familiarization training and handover at crew changes. User-recognized system for identifying special training needs. Company contacts, including the designated person under the ISM code. A voyage plan should aim to establish the most favorable route while maintaining appropriate margins of safety and safe passing distances offshore. When deciding upon the route, the following factors are amongst those that should be taken into account. The marine environment, the adequacy and reliability of charted hydrographic data along the route, the availability and reliability of navigation aids, coastal marks, lights and radar conspicuous targets for position fixing along the route. Any routing constraints imposed by the ship, for example, draft, type of cargo, etc. Areas of high traffic density, weather forecasts and expected current, tidal, wind, swell and visibility conditions. Areas where onshore set could occur. Ship operations that may require additional sea room. For example, tank cleaning or pilot embarkation. Regulations such as ships' routing schemes and ship reporting systems. The reliability of the propulsion and steering systems on board. Own experience with the planned route and type of ship. Good voyage planning equals good seamanship. The intended voyage should be planned prior to departure using appropriate and available corrected charts and publications. The master should check that the tracks laid down are safe, and the chief engineer should verify that the ship has sufficient fuel, water, and lubricants for the intended voyage. In addition, it is the duty of the master to exercise professional judgment in the light of changing circumstances. This remains a basic requirement for safe navigation. A voyage plan should be prepared and thoroughly checked before departure. When a route planning process is completed, it is highly recommended that the whole route is validated and checked against required safety limits. If an ECDIS is used for route planning, validation against preset limits can be executed by the system. Whatever method of validation is used, always remember that the responsibility for safe routing remains with the navigator. In most deep-sea ships, it is customary for the master to delegate the initial responsibility for preparing the voyage plan to the officer responsible for navigational equipment and publications. In small ships, the master may plan the voyage himself. While responsibility for the plan in pilotage waters rests with the ship, the pilot on boarding, or before if practicable, should advise the master of any local circumstances so that the plan can be updated. The master is responsible for the voyage plan even when he has delegated the actual work to somebody else. There are four main stages in the planning of a safe voyage. Collection of information and validation of all relevant information. Presentation of the raw data into information and the strategy to be used. Execution of tracking, voyage and communication control. Ensuring that the voyage plan is being followed. It is unlikely that every detail of a voyage plan has been anticipated. This does not detract from the value of the plan, which is to mark out in advance where the ship must not go. Press button ICS to display the passage plan checklist. Before planning can commence, the charts, publications, and other information appropriate for the voyage will need to be gathered together and studied. The use of ICS checklists is highly recommended. Press button ICS to display the passage plan checklist. Only official nautical charts and publications should be used for passage voyage planning, and they should be fully corrected. Any missing charts and publications needed for the intended voyage should be identified and obtained before the ship sails. An ocean passage may involve minimal preparation in terms of courses, distances, and turn points. For ocean passage and open water legs, smaller scale charts should be used. For coastal and pilotage planning and plotting, each course alteration point should be marked on large-scale charts. Navigation in coastal and pilotage waters requires concentrated preparation. The route plan should take into account the need to monitor the ship's position along the route, identify contingency actions at waypoints, and allow for collision avoidance in line with col regs. Only official nautical charts and publications should be used for passage voyage planning, and they should be fully corrected. Any missing charts and publications needed for the intended voyage should be identified and obtained before the ship sails. The route plan should incorporate the following details: planned track showing the true course of each leg, leg distances, any speed changes required en route, wheel over positions where appropriate, planned turn radius or turn rate where appropriate, maximum allowed off-track margins for each leg. The main details of the route plan should be recorded using sketches if appropriate, so that the plan can be readily referred to at the main conning position. Voyage planning can be done on paper charts or using electronic chart displayed on an electronic chart display and information system, ECDIS. Its use is subject to the approval of the flag state. Note that digital raster charts can only be used in conjunction with paper charts. Professional voyage planning involves both time and effort. The benefits may, however, be seen in terms of time and money saved at the end of the voyage. Voyage planning on ECDIS offers the navigator a number of options, such as establishing a safety contour or safety area around own ship, i.e. checking ship's draft against water depth, checking ship's route against danger areas, etc. Violation of preset criteria will trigger an alarm, both when the route is being planned and executed. In the hands of a qualified operator, the ECDIS, with all its automatic checking, is a fine tool for safe voyage planning. However, safe voyage planning remains the full responsibility of the captain. Sound procedures for checking the ECDIS must be established and followed at all times. Raster chart display systems displaying RNC can be used for passage planning in conjunction with paper charts. When combining RNC and paper charts, care must be taken at areas of transition between areas of electronic and paper charts coverage. In case the whole route is not covered by RNC, it is strongly recommended to do the whole planning on paper charts before transferring the route to the raster chart display systems. The following points should be given special attention. Positions are transferred to and are verified on electronic charts of an equivalent scale to that of the paper chart on which the position was originally plotted. Any known difference in chart datum between that used by the paper chart and that used by the electronic chart display system is applied to the transferred positions. The complete passage plan, as displayed on the electronic chart display system, is checked for accuracy and completeness before it is used. Care must be taken when transferring route plans to electronic navigation aids, such as GPS, since the ship's position is likely to be WGS 84. Route plans sent to GPS for monitoring cross-check errors must therefore be of the same datum. In this example, the ship's draft is 8 meters. Route planning is done on datum EUR 50, and ship positioning is done by GPS. The ship will run aground. Observe also that routes and maps displayed on the radar are positioned with reference to the position of the ship. Care must be taken to ensure that maps and positions transferred to the radar are using the same datum. Error in own ship position is transferred to maps and route information, and consequently everything displayed may be wrong. In open waters, the route selected will be either a great circle, composite great circle, or rhumb line route. When planning ocean passages, the following should be consulted. Small-scale ocean planning and routing charts providing information on ocean currents, winds, ice limits. Mnemonic projection ocean charts for plotting great circle routes. Load line zone chart to ensure that the load line rules are complied with. Chart showing any relevant ship routing schemes. Ocean current charts. Ice information chart. Meteorological information chart. Weather routing information, etc. Other available services along the route. Voyage planning in ocean waters should normally allow for larger safety margins than coastal sailing. Press button ICS to display the Navigation in Ocean Waters checklist. Compared with open waters, margins of safety in restricted waters can be critical, as the time available to take corrective action may be limited. The maneuvering characteristics of the ship and any limitations that the ship may have, including reliability problems with its propulsion and steering systems, may influence the route selected. Ships' routing schemes and reporting systems along the route, as well as vessel traffic services, should be taken into account. Coastal weather bulletins and navigational warnings may require changes to the original route plan. Press button ICS to display the Navigation in Coastal Waters checklist. monitoring of ships' intended track can be done visually or by instruments. In practice, a combination of the two is normally used most of the time. Modern systems, such as ECDIS, integrated navigation systems, etc., can provide a lot of useful information and assistance to the navigator, both in monitoring and execution of maneuvers. However, it is easy to forget that these systems do fail from time to time, usually when most needed. So a professional navigator has backup procedures available at all times. Without effective monitoring at all times, route planning has little or no value. A preliminary plan should be prepared covering pilotage waters and the roles of the bridge team personnel. Planning for anchoring off the port or aborting port entry in the event of problems arising should feature as part of the plan. The plan should also identify charted features that will assist monitoring progress and include contingency measures in the event of primary equipment failure, poor visibility, etc. Press button ICS to display the ICS Preparation for Arrival in Port checklist. In order to prepare for the pilot, an information exchange between the ship and the pilot should take place prior to boarding. Examples of information exchange forms are available from several sources. Once the pilot is on board, the passage plan may need to be discussed in more detail. Ship maneuvering and ship particulars information should be available on the bridge. Select from the buttons above to display sample forms. Ship routing measures have been introduced in a number of coastal waters to reduce the risk of collision between ships in areas of high traffic densities, keep shipping away from environmentally sensitive sea areas, reduce the risk of grounding in shallow waters. Nautical publications should always be consulted for up-to-date information about traffic separation schemes. Traffic separation schemes can be recommended or made mandatory by IMO. Mandatory schemes should always be followed, as long as safety is not hampered. The purpose of ships routing is to improve the safety of navigation in converging areas and in areas where the density of traffic is great, or where freedom of movement of shipping is inhibited by restricted sea room, the existence of obstructions to navigation, limited depths, or unfavorable meteorological conditions. The following elements are used in the IMO routing system. Traffic separation scheme. A routing measure aimed at the separation of opposing streams of traffic by establishing traffic lanes. Traffic lane. Areas within defined limits in which one-way traffic flows are established. Separation zone or line. A means to separate traffic lanes in which ships are proceeding in opposite or nearly opposite directions, in order to separate traffic lanes from adjacent sea areas or to separate different traffic lanes. Roundabout. A separation point or circular zone and a circular lane with defined limits. Inshore traffic zone. A designated sea area between the landward boundary of a traffic separation scheme and an adjacent coast. Recommended route. A route-defined width for the convenience of ships in transit, which is often marked by centerline buoys. Deepwater route. A route which has been accurately surveyed for clearance of sea bottom and submerged articles. Archipelagic sea lane. Sea lanes designated for the continuous and expeditious passage of ships through archipelagic waters. Archipelagic sea lane. Sea lanes designated for the continuous and expeditious passage of ships through archipelagic waters. Two-way route with one-way sections through a precautionary area. Two-way route with one-way sections through a precautionary area. Area to be avoided. An area in which either navigation is particularly hazardous or it is exceptionally important to avoid casualties, and which should be avoided by all ships. A number of coastal states have established ship reporting systems in order to keep track of the ships in their waters. In addition, reporting systems may be used for search and rescue purposes. The master should comply with the requirements of ship reporting systems and report all information required. In the future, a worldwide ship reporting system is expected to be made compulsory for all ships. The main purpose of a VTS is to make shipping safer in a particular area by monitoring the ship's position and providing relevant and updated information to all ships in the area. VTS systems can be divided into two main groups. VTS providing information services only, VTS providing traffic advice and instructions in order to maintain compliance with local regulations and improve safety to ships in the area. On the following pages, you will be asked some questions.